Taylor Swift, our global superstar. Did you know that her recent tour not only shocked the music industry worldwide but also terrified the Federal Reserve Bank of the United States? Who said musicians only know how to write and sing songs? Is Taylor Swift aiming to sing the global economy into motion as her new goal? Yes, you heard it right. I'm talking about the same Taylor Swift who sang Love Story, and now she might be writing our economy story. Taylor Swift's Eras Tour seemed to unleash some kind of magic, causing visible changes in the U.S. economy. You see, this tour spanned across 17 states, 5 continents, with a total of 131 shows. It's like Taylor is conducting her own global economic stimulus plan. The girl who poured her heart into her songs, pushing us all into the corner of emotions, is now injecting vitality into the economy. When the people at the Federal Reserve saw this phenomenon, their reaction was, "Tay, how did you do it?" It reminds me of that old joke, if your economy is in trouble, call Taylor Swift. Well, it's not an old joke anymore, it's a new one. It seems like some people took her lyrics too literally, especially the line, "Baby, just say yes." As soon as they heard it, they emptied their wallets. And those who were hoping for government stimulus to revive the economy are now envious because they spent billions without achieving the same impact as Taylor's concert tour. Now, I have to reassess the statement, music can't change the world. It seems like it can indeed. It seems like Taylor Swift can not only change people's moods but also the economy. In her music world, everyone becomes more generous, and wallets become more open. What's even more interesting is that those who predict economic recessions might need to learn from Swift and understand how to awaken public consumer desires. Perhaps they should collaborate with Taylor Swift and release a single called, "Shake It Off, Recession." During her 3 concerts in Philadelphia, Taylor caused hotel revenues to skyrocket to the highest levels since the pandemic began. The hotel owners, looking at the numbers on their bills, must have been moved to tears while also wanting Taylor to organize more concerts. Just think about it, how loyal Taylor's fans are. They willingly and without complaint pay for accommodation expenses. In other circumstances, people would probably protest against price increases. Even more astonishing is the estimate that Taylor's U.S. tour may contribute to a $4.6 billion increase in consumer spending, which is larger than the GDP of some countries. Taylor, are you planning to establish your own country? We can call it Swiftland, where your fans are citizens, and your music is our national anthem. With your tours, our treasury will never run out of money. So, if the United States successfully avoids the recession that people worry about, we might need to thank not only the Federal Reserve but also our Taylor Swift and her loyal fans. So, the next time someone asks you about Taylor's achievements, you can tell them that she is not only a genius musician but also an unintentional hero who saves the economy. Lastly, I want to ask Taylor, are you planning to take over the Federal Reserve? In other news, Russia has acquired the assets of Danone and Carlsberg. This story reminds me of my last experience at a bar. I got drunk, and the bartender took my wallet and car keys. He said it was for my safety. I glanced at the bottle of Russian vodka in his hand, and I knew he had my safety in mind. However, Russia's actions seem a bit excessive. I suspect Putin might have had a few too many drinks, or maybe he has a special fondness for that active yogurt and beer. It seems like the production lines for beer and yogurt might be converted into vodka and yogurt in the future. Who knows? In this crazy world, anything is possible. Now, the new policy is that if Russia's assets are seized overseas, Russia will seize foreign assets domestically. It sounds fair, but you know, it's like your neighbor telling you that their dog dug a hole in your garden, so they've decided that your cat can pee in their living room. Now, let's take a look at Carlsberg. They say this development is unexpected. Yes, it's just like when you're at a buffet table at a party, and suddenly the waiter takes away your wallet. It's also like a TV shopping advertisement where the more you watch, the more you're compelled to keep watching because you really want to know what the next surprise will be. I guess those Western companies still in Russia, like Carlsberg, Nestlé, Unilever, and Mondelez, are probably saying to themselves, "Dear self, get ready for the next surprise." It's like when you see someone being robbed on the street, and you walk up to them and say, "Can you wait a moment? My wallet is empty right now. Let me go get some money." But looking at the experiences of Danone and Carlsberg, I guess these companies are now thinking, we better go get some money faster. This Russian policy is like that friend at a party who gets so drunk that they start collecting everyone's bottles. You might find it amusing to watch, but you also know that your bottle might just disappear like that. I hope you can learn something from this story, which is to always be prepared for the unexpected in our lives. In this crazy world, we always have to be ready to laugh at life's various miracles. Let me share a true story of an American with you. There was a father, the kind of person who would make extreme sacrifices for his family. His family had planned to fly to Disneyland for a vacation, but their flight got cancelled. So, do you know what he did? He drove for 17 hours, from New Jersey to Disneyland in Florida, with his family. And then, he immediately turned around and drove back to New Jersey for work. Can you believe it? When I go to the movies and can't find a parking spot, I just say, forget it, I'm going home. This father's name is Nathan, and he had planned to drop off his family at the airport, and they would fly to Orlando to enjoy Disneyland. Then he could stay at home and work peacefully. But life threw him a lemon, and his flight got cancelled. You know, it's like planning a perfect weekend, and then your boss tells you that you have to work overtime on the weekend. That feeling, let me tell you, is like biting into a raw lemon. Nathan's wife and children thought they would drive back home and rearrange their vacation. But Nathan had his own plan. He got them in the car, turned on the music, started singing "On the Road Again," and told them that he was taking them on a road trip to Disneyland. I can imagine their expressions in the car, just like when you expect to eat a piece of chocolate cake, but instead your mouth explodes from a spoonful of hot sauce. Nathan drove for 17 hours, covering over 1,000 miles, to safely get his family to Disneyland. You know, I can't even stand driving for 17 minutes. If someone asked me to drive for 17 hours, I might consider jumping out of the car. Then Nathan began his journey back to New Jersey to go to work. Let me tell you, once he got home, he must have qualified as the hero of the whole family, but their kids might ask, "Dad, you know, you could have stayed with us and played at Disneyland." And he would reply, "Don't be silly, kids. I have to go back to work, or how are we going to Universal Studios next year?" This story reminds me of my father, who is also the kind of person who would make sacrifices for the family. Although his sacrifices are not as noble as driving for 17 hours, he gives up the power to use the remote control in the last piece of cake in the fridge. But on another note, can you imagine what this story would be like if it happened to us ordinary people? If it were me, I might say, "Oh, sorry, the flight got cancelled, looks like we can't go to Disneyland. But don't worry, we can watch Frozen at home." So let's applaud for Nathan, he's a great father and a crazy marathon-level driver. But I have to tell you, if one day I drive you for 17 hours to Disneyland, you better buy me the best Disney souvenir, and you know what, it better be able to drive itself back home. According to U.S. officials, an American soldier crossed into North Korea without authorization on Tuesday and has been detained by North Korean authorities. The soldier entered North Korea during a visit to the Joint Security Area, which spans the border between North and South Korea, becoming the latest American citizen to be detained by North Korea. While the intentions of Travis King, the soldier, are not yet clear, this incident provides North Korea and its leader Kim Jong-un with a new bargaining chip in negotiations with the United States. The soldier was recently released from a South Korean prison, where he had been arrested on charges of personal injury. U.S. military officials had planned to send him to Texas for further disciplinary action. The soldier was escorted to the airport, but instead of boarding the plane, he joined a sightseeing group and ran across the border at the Joint Security Area. However, further details about how the soldier was able to join the sightseeing group have not been disclosed. On the 17th local time, according to reports from media outlets such as the Associated Press and the U.S. political media Politico, an unnamed U.S. government official said that on the 16th, a Russian Su-35 fighter jet came extremely close to a U.S. MC-12 reconnaissance aircraft that was conducting surveillance on ISIS forces over Syria, endangering the U.S. crew members. Amid escalating threats from North Korea, South Korea and the United States held their first meeting of the Korean-American Nuclear Cooperation Working Group in Seoul on the 18th, and decided to establish an integrated extended deterrence system for extended deterrence against North Korea, including joint planning, consultation, and implementation. On the same day, the U.S. strategic nuclear submarine USS Kentucky, which carries ballistic missiles, docked at Busan Port. This is the first visit of an SSBN to South Korea in 42 years. Former U.S. President Trump has stated that federal prosecutors have informed his legal team that he is one of the targets of the investigation into the January 6 attack on the Capitol. This suggests that Trump may be indicted in this case. On the 18th, Republican Senator Rubio and Congressman Banks proposed the Slave Labor Supporter Sanctions Act to Congress, hoping to impose secondary sanctions on individuals and entities that violate the rights of Uyghurs to a greater extent. Rubio stated that further action must be taken to hold individuals and entities accountable who benefit from forced labor of the Uyghurs. On the 17th, Russia announced that the Black Sea Grain Initiative, agreed upon by Russia and Ukraine, is no longer in effect. The Russian side denied this as a retaliatory measure, stating that the agreement would be reinstated immediately once the provisions concerning Russia are implemented. Experts warn that not extending the agreement will lead to a surge in food prices. The United Nations revealed that since August 2022, the grain export agreement has exported 32.9 million tons of food products to 45 countries. Russia has taken over the local operations of Carlsberg and Danone. A scholar who previously served as a Russian central bank official said that this move indicates that the Kremlin has abandoned any idea of normalizing relations with Europe, both now and in the future. This is another dimension of the war, he said. Western assets in Russia are no longer safe. In rural areas of Nepal, many women are forced to undergo menstrual isolation, chapati, where they have to live alone in small huts outdoors during their periods. Many face sexual assault or die due to harsh conditions during isolation. To protest against this tradition, 26-year-old Sangeeta Rakaya climbed Mount Everest, hoping to spread a message against discrimination by challenging another taboo that restricts Nepalese women. The Earth is experiencing unprecedented scorching heat. Southern Europe, in particular, has seen consecutive days with temperatures exceeding 40 degrees Celsius, leading to dry land and widespread wildfires. This summer is being described as the worst in history. In Rome, Italy, on the 18th, the temperature reached a high of 41 degrees Celsius. Hello everyone, I am your news anchor, Yali, providing you with a one-stop service for global news every day. Feel free to leave your comments in the comment section, and we will carefully read and respond to all of them. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. See you next time, take care everyone.